WZR Radio starts now. You can call into the show at 724-444-7444 using call ID 30273#.
So I can again, and I've been but sheltered.
Now, here's your hosts, Ryan Clark and Jose Rivera.
Hey now, take two, and we got it right. Sorry about the intro problems. The chat froze up, but nonetheless, welcome to the Tuesday, April 7th edition of WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com, WrestlingInc.com, and a host of other websites. We're going to be here with you for the next 2 hours talking pro wrestling. We're going to talk a little bit about WrestleMania. I know a lot of you guys missed our WrestleMania show yesterday that we did. We did it on a very short notice, just a few hours notice yesterday, but nonetheless, we put the archive up on WZROnline.com, so we have a full Mania show up over there on the right-hand side of the site, which you can get to after this show if you missed it last night. Tonight we're going to talk about Raw. We've got the WWE Draft next week, so we got a lot to talk about tonight. But before we get to all of that, El Vato, Jose Rivera. Hey, Jose.
I'm over here thinking that we got a new intro. I'm like, oh, okay, now I can sit here and just kind of like imagine, like, you know how the WWE has their little video intro. Obviously, we don't have video here, so I was just kind of daydreaming about WrestleMania this past Sunday.
Dude, well, you know what sucks? And I'll tell you what sucks. Listen. We did a show yesterday, right? And I had to deal with your ass for an hour and a half. Then we have to come back today, and we've got to do a 2-hour show, and I've got to deal with your ass yet again.
You know, it's just 2 hours more than what we first, talked about. Just so you know. So.
Just so you know, yeah. But I mean, yesterday, today, 3.5 hours of El Vatos, Jose Rivera. Oh, I don't know, brother. Come on now. No,
3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. Come on, baby. You talk about wrestling, we're talking about right here. WZR Radio. Come on.
We got a lot to talk about. We, like I said, we did the WrestleMania show yesterday. We ran down we'll talk a little bit about WrestleMania tonight because we missed a lot of people yesterday. The problem with yesterday was I report for a bunch of different websites around the internet, and we put a notice out a couple hours before we went live just because it was too much. We had WrestleMania, then we had Raw, then we have the draft next week. So there's been a ton of news. Any of you guys that follow the websites, of course, all of you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here listening to us right now. But there's been a ton of news out, and it always happens during WrestleMania. So we figured we put a notice out. But the problem was yesterday is half the websites that I report at were down due to, traffic has just been insane, and it always happens the day after WrestleMania.
Little server. Sometimes bandwidth just takes a little too much.
Well, dude, it's crazy. What was it? I think the last time I checked, WZROnline.com, which is the official website of WZR Radio yesterday, I think we were just over 17,000 hits, 17,000 uniques, I believe it was. And then today, before we came on the air right now, I think it was above 13,000, almost about to hit 14,000, which is just amazing because, for a website that hasn't, even been open for a year. I don't think it's been a year yet. No, it definitely hasn't been a year. To get 17,000 hits and then follow it up today with 14 or 15,000 by day's end. We may even top the 17,000 that we had yesterday, which is just, it's crazy, dude. It's absolutely amazing to see. So, with that said, we've, like I said, man, we got to talk Raw. We they pulled some swerves on us last night. We came on here, if you guys heard the WrestleMania show, and I thought they were going to do, I mean, we both kind of thought they were going to do Orton versus Triple H. If it didn't happen last night on Raw, it was going to happen at Backlash, and they pulled
it up.
Yeah, they pulled a major swerve last night. I'm not sure I agree with that, though. I think I know the match wasn't all that at WrestleMania, but I think if you threw him in a cage or something like that at Backlash, put a stipulation on there or something, I think the time to do a six-man tag match is at the end of the feud, and I think they could have gone another match with Randy Orton versus Triple H before they went into the tag matches to main event pay-per-views. You know what I mean? It's just I know Batista returned, and I know they pulled the big swerve, which we're going to get to here in just a little bit. But it's just I don't know. I know the match wasn't all that at WrestleMania, but I think we should have had the opportunity to see another match, Orton versus Triple H, whether you put him in a cage, like I said, or some sort of stipulation. I don't think the one-on-one should have ended as early as it did.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, but I'm thinking how logically how the WWE thinks is my guess is their approach was, all right, well, in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we have another pay-per-view, or do we put it on there, or do we stretch it out longer and say, we'll do it on the next major pay-per-view, so, and that's what, Great American Bash, or no, I'm way ahead, right?
Yeah, Backlash is next, and then the pay-per-view after that is Judgment Day, I believe.
Judgment Day, yeah. So my guess is you may have your gimmick match there on Judgment Day, and then we'll have the three-man tag or six-man tag, I should say, that they announced last night on Raw. I mean, I would like to see those two tangle out much sooner than then, but apparently, obviously, I think their approach was, 4 weeks out, here's another pay-per-view, let's just put some names together, those six-man, and then, of course, bringing in Batista, which was quite a pleasant surprise, him returning.
What was up last night with, all right, Vince came out, right? Vince comes out on Raw. We're going to run down Raw here in just a minute, and then we're going to take your live phone calls. Number two, let me do a plug real quick, and then I want to ask you a question about Vince. But WZROnline.com, we have our live chat. There are tons of people in there tonight. This may be one of our biggest shows in a long, long time. I mean, it's crazy to see the amount of traffic that's in the chat room right now. So WZROnline.com/chat for that. Now back to Vince on Raw, where, Vince came out and basically said that Orton was never going to get a title shot again. All right, and then they set up a match, and then he had Vicky Guerrero come out later in the show, and she messed up. Did you see that? You know that she was something...
Someone probably said to her, sweetheart, you forgot to finish the line.
No, I can picture...
Wheel her back out there, Chavo. Wheel her back out.
Dude, I can just picture her going out there, and she announced the match, right? And then she forgot, like, the most important part, which was the last, what was it, last man standing? Yeah, it was the last man standing match between Edge and John Cena, right? So she forgot the most important part, and then I'm thinking to myself, oh, man, Vince in the gorilla position, right behind there. I mean, as soon as Chavo wheeled her back. Oh, dude, can you imagine Vince just absolutely scared? And then she came back out, and you could tell that she was floored. You know what I mean?
A little disturbed.
Yeah, a little like, wow, I just got screamed at.
She just did a Mike Adamle. She pulled a Mike Adamle.
Mike Adamle, yeah, no doubt. That's funny you brought Mike Adamle up. Somebody said, I think it was JMK, the producer. He said Mike Adamle is going to be the replacement over on SmackDown, and I said, oh, please, no, man. Please.
Yeah, I hope not. At least it's taped.
Yeah, right.
You can at least edit this shit.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. So then Vicky came out, right, and she overrules the match that Vince made earlier in the night, and then she made the SmackDown match as well with John Cena and Edge for that title, Last Man Standing, right? So then you had, all right, so the Backlash match was announced once, and then it changed again with Vicky Guerrero out there, right? And then Vicky just, who is she? She comes out and she overrules Vince, who's the owner. Vince just said, an hour ago that Randy Orton was to never get a title shot again. So Vicky comes out, and all of a sudden she's the new, she announced
she wants to shake things up.
So she shakes things up, all right. So then we've got another backlash.